Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Vishnupad, Paramahansa, Vibhakadasa, Srimad, His Divine Grace, Sri Lesa Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Vishnupad, Paramahansa, Parivakacharya, Sarasi, Srimad, Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Goswami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Srila Gokishodas Babaji Maharaj ki Jai. Srila Thakur Bhakti Vinod ki Jai. Sri Guru Parampara ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Go Premananda, Hari Hari. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All together, please. Om Jnana Timarandasya Ganandana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stabidam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Pam Dadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yukta Padakamalang Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Prijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padang Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapcha Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Brindavaneshwari Rishabhana Sudadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Dhurubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, translation and commentary by Srila Prabhupada, verse number 18, 16th chapter, the divine and demoniac natures. So, please repeat. Ahankaram, Bhalam, Dapam, Kamam, Krodam, Cha, Samsritaha, Mam, Atmaparadeshu, Pravishyanto, Bhyasukyakaha, Ahankaram, Bhala, Darpam, Karmam Krodam cha samsritaha Mamatma paradeheshu Pravishyanto bayasu yakaha Ahankaram baladarpam Karmam Krodam cha samsritaha Mam Atma Paradeheshu Pravishyanto Basukyaka. Okay.
Ahankaram balam darpam. Kamam krodam cha sansrita. Mamatma paradehesu. Rabdisanto abhisoyaka.
Bayasuyaka. Bayasuyaka.
Ahankaram balam
Yasuyaka.
darpam. Kamam krodam cha sansrita. Mamatma paradehesu. Rabdisanto abhyasuyaka. Ahankaram balam darpam. Kamam krodam cha sansrita.
Atma paradeheshu. Suyakaha.
Ahankaram balam darpam.
Karmam krodam shasamstritaha. Mamatma paradeheshu. Pravishanto bayasuyaka. So, word for word, please repeat. Ahankaram, false ego. Balam, strength. Darpam, pride. Karmam, lust. Krodam, anger. Cha, also. Samsritaha, having taken shelter of. Mam, me. Atma, in their own. Para, and in other. Deheshu, bodies. Prabhishyantaha, blaspheming. Abhyasuyaka, envious. So, this description of less charming people. I'll read then. Bewildered by false ego, strength, pride, lust, and anger, the demons become envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in their own bodies and in the bodies of others, and blaspheme against the real religion. Please repeat. Bewildered by false ego, strength, pride, lust and anger, the demons become envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in their own bodies and in the bodies of others, and blaspheme against the real religion. So, purport Srila Prabhupada. A demoniac person, being always against God's supremacy, does not like to believe in the scriptures. He is envious of both the scriptures and the existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is caused by his so-called prestige and his accumulation of wealth and strength. He does not know that the present life is a preparation for the next life. Not knowing this, he is actually envious of his own self, as well as of others. He commits violence on other bodies and on his own. He does not care for the supreme control of the personality of Godhead, because he has no knowledge. Being envious of the scriptures and the supreme personality of Godhead, he puts forward false arguments against the existence of God and denies the scriptural authority. He thinks himself independent and powerful in every action. He thinks that since no one can equal him in strength, power, or wealth, he can act in any way and no one can stop him. If he has an enemy who might check the advancement of his sensual activities, he makes plans to cut him down by his own power. Vakam karochi vachalam pangam laitegrim yed kripa tamaham vande Sri Guru Dinatarinam Ahankaram Baladharpam Karmam Krodam Chasamsritaha Mam Atma Paradeheshu Pravishyanto Vyasuyakaha. So, bewildered by false ego, strength, pride, lust, and anger, the demons become envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in their own bodies and in the bodies of others, and blaspheme against the real religion. So yes, like I said last week, I first read this. I got the Gita by mail order, and I was amazed because it was so factual, rather than, in different Abrahamic religions, they have the demons are kind of like ethereal beings in the ether, and they have horns, and they wander around in the night, and they grab you at in the darkness of the forest or something, and make you do terrible things or something. But here is demons walking around the road, sitting next to you on the bus, serving you a cup of tea in a tea shop. Not that you drink tea, of course, not that I do. But there are demons amongst us. And as we say, that what is the basic thing? The demon is the materialist. He wants to enjoy material energy. Whereas the divine person, he wants to realize the supreme energy, the spiritual energy. This is the basic difference. The material world is a mixture of material energy and spiritual energy. So the spiritual energy is undiluted, if you like, in the spiritual world. In Haridam, the place of Narayan and Lakshmi Devi, Krishna there, in the form of Narayan, is worshipped in Aishwarya Bhav. And everyone has this sense of servitude and glorification to Narayan. Narayan means the shelter of all living entities. Nara Arayan, the shelter of all men, women, child. But they're completely non-envious, right? This is the material disease, that everyone is envious. It takes three forms, we've explained many times. Three forms is that of envy is those that we consider below us in status. We disparage them. Oh, look, he has no wealth, he has no strength, he has no beauty, or she is this. So we kick them when they're down. And then the other form, those that we consider in our peer group, meaning that may appear to be equal to us, we have a sense of rivalry. Oh, I want to be better than him. I'm going to get more money than him. I'm going to get more followers than him. I'm going to have more children than him. He may think he may be my brother, but I'm going to success. I'm going to get more success in life. I'm going to be the best of the brothers, so on and so forth. So a sense of rivalry. And then the other form of matsarya, envy, it's called abhisuyaka, is that you look at those that are superior in strength, knowledge, position, and so on, opulence, and you become hateful, fault-finding. Oh, they are better than me. Of course you don't speak it. I don't like them. You want to bring them down. So you see that in the material world. They build up people, a pop star is a hero, and then they knock him when he comes down, right? Oh, now he's gone to the rehab to get rid of all the drugs. He's a corrupt person. She's a corrupt person. They build you up and then they knock you down. And everyone, yeah. Have you got something bad to say about somebody? Yes? Sit next to me and tell me. This is the envious person. He wants to hear about kutanati, fault-finding. But the devotee is devoid of kutanati. Prabhupada, even one lecture, he says that the devotee, he classes those people. He says those that are always finding fault, they're the lowest. Those that find fault, but sometimes mention a good quality in someone, they are a little better. They emphasize the fault as they see it. And then those that emphasize the good in somebody but still find fault, they're one step above. But then those that only see good in people and only want to talk about the good in people, they're the highest class of person. There's a story about Srila Prabhupada that one time the devotees in England, they went to Srila Prabhupada and they said, George, because George Harrison was very attached to Prabhupada, he's gone back to drinking and this, and Prabhupada is, he seems to not be following anymore, or, he seems to be... Prabhupada said, no, I don't want to hear it. George is a very good boy, very nice person. Don't tell me. Prabhupada didn't want to hear anything. And there's another story about one of his servants. He disappeared for 6 months. And then he came back and he said, he was actually Prabhupada's personal servant, getting everything ready. And he came back, this was really early on. And he came back to Prabhupada and he said, Prabhupada, I'm sorry, my senses got out of control. Please forgive me, for, having all this trouble. Prabhupada said, you make good rasgulas, don't you? I remember. Go to the kitchen. I've told this story before. You know this story? Yeah, this is one of my... that was it. There was no inquest. Why did you... no. He just completely re-engaged him immediately in devotional service. And there was no big inquest about why you did that. Now you promised and you said you'd follow this and you don't, and you not chanting. No, there was nothing like that. Go and make me some rasgulla. Very practical. But, so that is a sadhu. Sadhu is... what do we say? Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. That they are the embodiment of the mercy aspect of Krishna. That's in at the beginning of one chapter in the Krishna book. And Prabhupada writes there, because he's translating the 10th canto, but he's also putting his commentary in there. And he says that... the Supreme Lord has so many qualities, but for those that are in the material world, his most important quality is his mercy. The aspect of his personality that is doya, kripa doya. He wants to give mercy. And so that kripa doya, that mercifulness, is particularly embodied in the Vaishnava. Therefore, what is that verse? Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha. That the Vaishnava is the embodiment of Krishna's mercy. And I read in Chaitanya Bhagavat that the Supreme Lord, he enjoys pastimes, Lord Chaitanya enjoys pastimes in the body of his devotees. For example, Prabhupada went to the West. He first stopped in London, by the way, not New York. But anyway, it's true. The boat stopped in London. So, tell that to an American. His seeker might fall off. So anyway, so the thing is, what was I saying? That...
Chaitanya is doing pastimes in the devotees.
Huh?
Chaitanya is...
Oh yeah, he enjoys pastimes. So Prabhupada went with Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, in his heart. He, the realized devotee, you see, it just says here that the demon blasphemes against the real religion, right? And he becomes envious of the Supreme Lord, who's within his own heart. But Prabhupada said there in the purport that the demon doesn't know that. He has he doesn't know. He thinks that God is somewhere out there. Like we've all often said, when a football player scores a goal, he says, oh, thank you, God. Well, that's very good. But Krishna, God, Supreme Lord, is within the heart. He's not just up in heaven. That is a poor fund. He's also in charge of every center of miracle. And Krishna's name is Atma Atma. We sometimes have paintings and we have Paramatma and a soul, right, in the painting. But actually the soul of the soul is Krishna. He's within the soul, the individual soul. Krishna is there, within. So he is Atma, that's one his name. He's the soul of the soul. So it says here that the demon, he doesn't have this knowledge, of course, and he's bewildered, he's very frustrated. So he lets out this frustration in his envy. You see, just like Krishna, he's explaining that, the envious, abhaya sukyakaha. He's frustrated, right? There are 6 enemies of the mind. Krishna already, I don't know if he's already said it, that there are 3 gates to hell. Yes. Yeah. That lust, anger, greed. So, karma, krodha, greed, lobha. And then there are 3 more. These are given in the Shastra. That after lobha, lust, anger, greed, is pride. No, sorry, illusion. So if you, and then pride, and then enviousness. And it's explained in the Shastra, I've read, that karma, well, we know from the Gita, right? Karma esha, krodha esha, rajaguna, samudbhava, very famous verse, that Arjuna asked Krishna, he says, why is it that people sometimes know the truth and they have some spiritual knowledge and they have a spiritual master, but they still don't follow? Why, why are they having problems? And Krishna answers straight to the point, very smart. Karma esha, krodha esha, rajaguna, samudbhava. Mahashano, mahapapna, virinam, iha virinam. That lust, born from the mode of passion, is the all-devouring sinful enemy of this world. Right? So, at the beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrita, it explains that this lustness, this desire to enjoy the material energy, it's a transformation of the prem. The soul is meant to have prem for the Supreme Lord, loving service attitude. But in the material world, instead of serving the Supreme, he serves himself. So that is calm. And the explanation is there, the prem is like gold, and calm, lust, the transformation of this attitude, is like metal, iron. Iron is cheap and it's all available. Gold is valuable. So this is the conundrum of the demon, that first lust and then they become angry because they become frustrated. And so it's explained in the Shastra that lust is included in anger. And then he becomes greedy. So he becomes lusty and he has some wealth, right? Like it says here. But then he wants more. He's not satisfied. So he thinks that if I get more wealth, then I'll be more satisfied, more happy. So he becomes lusty, angry, frustrated, and then greedy. I want more. So then he enters into illusion. He enters into illusion that he is compulsively chasing the material opulences as a means of happiness to assuage his frustration. And then the next thing is he becomes proud. He works very, very hard. Just like the businessman means a very busy man, right? A businessman is a very busy man. He wants to buy something cheap here and sell it there at more expensive. And, he's very busy about making this deal. He's very busy at night. He goes to sleep and he thinks, I should have done this, I should have done that. His mind is very busy. So he's entering into illusion. And he's trying to be the controller of the material energy so he can enjoy it. So then the next one is pride. If he works hard and performs austerity, then he may achieve some wealth according to his thing. So wealth includes the previous 4, lust, anger, greed, and illusion. And then the end is matsarya. To get that wealth, he has to exploit other people in the material energy. He has to Like, this is what the communist idea was. We're going to share everything, right? We're going to have, the state will control the means of production, and then the state will give equally to everyone. But people aren't, there are greedy people in communist countries as well as there are in capitalist countries, and so on and so forth. So anyway, it becomes envious, and that means hateful, because he's frustrated. He's not got his satisfaction. He's chasing will o' the wisp. He's chasing this happiness in the material world, and he's working very hard, and he's bewildered. I'm working so hard, like it says, and what's the root? This is what Krishna says very interestingly here. If you look at the verse, where is it? 18, right? It starts with ahankara. Ahankaram balam darpam. False ego. So it all starts with bodily identification. Right? So Arjuna tells Krishna how I can overcome this calm. And he said, well, it's difficult, but by proper endeavor, that means the rules of sadhana, diet, association, self-control, then you can conquer it. This is, in short, what Krishna tells Arjuna. And this is very important, that a devotee, just like if you want to be a weightlifter, you have to follow a special diet. Apparently they take lots of steroids, and they take a lot of eggs, because eggs are high protein, and they take all these different steroids and they exercise, and then they can get big muscles. Bit ridiculous when you think about it. But, so a devotee should have the same understanding, that if I am going to conquer this material affection, this lustiness, I have to follow a special diet. You understand? That means prasad. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, and he should only take prasad. Should only take pure foodstuffs. And Krishna says, those that eat foodstuffs that are not offered first and accepted in sacrifice, they verily eat only sin. That means they eat lusty foods, and they take too much sugar or too much, and they become fat, and they become sick and diabetic and this and that. And they, when they're on the on the Bhakti program, the Bhakti director says, "Oh, it's prasadam. You can take as much as you like." No, that's okay for the first week or two. But if you want to overcome material condition, you have to be on a special diet, just like that weightlifter. You have to only take Krishna prasadam, and it must be real Krishna prasadam. And it says in the Shastra that Krishna only accepts foodstuffs from the person whose mind and body he has accepted as his own. This is Hari Bhakti Vilas. Only takes, and there is in the Chaitanya Charitam that Lord Chaitanya only eats in the house of a crorepati. Lakpati. That means somebody who is chanting the holy name 1 lakh per day. So in ISKCON, of course, that means just chanting all day. But in ISKCON, we have the morning program, we have the Guru Puja, we have the Bhagavatam class, we have chanting in the period, we have different... So we're engaged 24 hours a day. So this is the most important thing. If you want to overcome this false ego and desire for strength in your body and pride and lust and anger, you have to train. You have to be very strict with what you eat, who you associate with, what you think upon, what you contemplate. if you're going to, not you, but if one, I'm just thinking theoretically, is a fault finder, if he's nasty, this is all warning for us sadhakas. The demoniac become envious of the Supreme Lord and blaspheming in the bodies of others and blasphemes against the real religion. And also he blasphemes against other devotees. Often you find that a fallen devotee will criticize other devotees that are doing their best, that are keeping to the sadhana, even if they're not very advanced. Oh, he's no good, he's stupid. I'm going for a drink now. So they find it's easy to find fault with other people, right? But the devotee, if you want to find fault, you should look in the mirror and say, look. And one should learn from the qualified spiritual master, from the scriptures, from the sadhanas, Mahadhyena Katasva Pantha. You will find that tapa is the word. Diet is spelled D-I-E-T. Now you take away T, what do you get? Die. You get D-I-E, die. If your diet doesn't have tapasya, die. Right? Now you see, I don't want to point the finger at anyone, but often you see so many people, they can't walk properly because they're so, this is because diet, tongue, tapasya. What is the first word that Lord Brahma heard in the universe? We all know, right? You're experienced devotees. What? He was searching, where is my source? What is my origin? From whom I have and he heard one word. What? Dappa. Yes. So a devotee is a hero. That doesn't matter if you're a man, woman, child, old or young. He understands by tapasya, I can attain Chintamani Prakarasatma Sakalpa Vriksha. I can realize the Supreme Lord. Yetam mam prapadyante. If I perform tapasya of sadhana and I control my tongue, what is that verse at the beginning of Nectar Instruction? One who controls the tongue, belly and genital. You're one of those people that knows everything. No, it's the beginning Nectar of Instruction. What is it? Right? The person who can... Vacha vegam, manasakroda vegam, yeah. One who can control the tongue, belly and genital, the urges of the mind, the urges to speak and so on. He can become a spiritual master and control and make disciples all over the world. That means he's become transcendental. Because when Prabhupada describes a spiritual master in his purports, he is always talking about the Uttama Adhikari, spiritual master. He's not talking about, the Madhyama or the Kanishta Adhikari. He's talking about the Uttama. That means somebody who has transcended. Prabhupada used to quote that the devotee, he is Brahmanishta. No, Shrotriyam Brahmanishta. Shrotriyam means he knows the Shastra. He knows Shastric conclusion. Sambandha Abhidaya Prayojan. And he is Brahmanishta. Just like in the Gita, Krishna says, Mahatmanastamam Patha Devim Prakritim Ashrita. The Mahatma is in the shelter of the Devim Prakriti, the divine spiritual energy. So, that is the qualification of the Uttamadhikari Guru. Somebody who's transcended the modes. Somebody who is feeling bhava, who is awakening prem. Now he's coming down to the level where he's don't do this, that. Now, like I say, the prem bhakta is immersed in Krishna prem and he doesn't see any fault. He sees Krishna, everyone, and everyone in Krishna. But the Uttamadhikari Guru comes down and he teaches the disciples, this is good, this is bad, this is bad, this is good, this don't do this, do that. pravittim cha, nivrittim cha. That's very important. So he's making that Madhyama Adhikari platform, but he's a Uttamadhikari. And so his compassion is to instruct. So what is then, how do we get away from this? Because they not only blaspheme the Supreme Lord and their own self in that sense, become angry with themselves, but they also blaspheme devotees and they blaspheme the scripture. So this is a warning to us. And the tongue, speaking and eating, will lead us away from the proper rules of sadhana. Like I say, if you want to be a weightlifter, you've got to follow the program nicely. So if you want to be a devotee, you've got to be an expert. And that means tapasya. So what is that tapasya? Tapasya means that I exert self-control. And that is my offering. And I offer self-control in obedience to my Uttamadhikari instructing spiritual master, because he gives the path. There's that verse, it's so important, it's in the Chatur Shloki, right? Tesham satata yuktanam bhajitam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayantite. To those who are constantly devoted to me, I give them the intelligence, buddhi yoga, by which they can come to me. That means buddhi yoga, what does that mean? They have the intelligence to discriminate between pravrittim cha and nivrittim cha. What should be done and what should not be done. Right? Krishna gives that intelligence. But he gives that vision, but we have to do the choosing. Do you see the point? We have to choose what should be done. It's not that Krishna says, Dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayantite. They worship me with priti purvakam, loving affection. I give intelligence by which they can choose to come to me. They can understand what is the right path. But still, they have to choose. Because Krishna does not interfere with the free will. Right? Even at the end of the Gita, 2 times, Krishna says to Arjuna, okay, now I've explained everything. Arjuna, now you can decide what you want. Right? And then Arjuna, the second time, said, Karishyate tava vachanam. Yes, I am ready to act according to your tava vachanam, your words. I choose to act according to your words. So now when we understand this point, then we know what to do. We realize that I have to do the right choosing. You understand? We sometimes chant Hare Krishna and automatically you'll get prem. You might say to that somebody, on the street or something. But actually, no. Chant Hare Krishna, associate with devotees, learn a little philosophy from the devotees, and then choose properly. You understand? It's like saying, oh, you've got a guitar, now you will automatically become a guitar player. No, you have to practice your musical, you have to do it every day, and then, I can play guitar to some extent. And then your practice becomes very happy and enthusing. So that is the tapasya of spiritual life, that we have to understand that it's up to me, that I have to do the choosing. Just like Krishna said to Arjuna, now you make your decision, Arjuna. You decide. I've explained everything, all this, and now you decide. And then Krishna said, Aham sarvadharma prityaja, give up all your material dharmas and conceptions and just surrender to me within the heart. I will give you Buddhi Yogam. I will give you intelligence, but you must do the choosing. So this is very empowering when we hear this. What this means is that, and Bhaktivinoda says this in the Chaitanya Shikshamrita, he says, a devotee knows, he has the realization that if I do my best in devotional service, you don't have to be perfect today or tomorrow, but if I do my best, if I try to follow ecology, if I try to avoid fault finding, if I try to be a friend to devotees, if I'm kind to all living entities, if I study the Shastra, if I tell people the Maha Mantra, so on and so forth, if I tell them it's Kali Yuga, sabse bariya sadhana naam bhajan hai, you just have to tell people, if you do that, then Krishna will reciprocate. The devotee knows that there may not be a sign in the sky. It may not be in tomorrow's newspaper. There may not be a YouTube video about it. But Krishna knows. Krishna is where? He's not in the sky saying thank you for scoring a goal. He's within the heart. He's seeing everything. So by the tapasya of controlling the mind, body and senses, by doing that under the directions of bona fide guru, acharyas, shastra, by developing that attitude, then Krishna reciprocates. And the devotee knows, yeyatam mam prapanche, that if I follow ecology, if I go on parikram, and I do it as an offering to Krishna, then Krishna will reciprocate. He's confident, because that you're all devotees, long time. You know that when you do something nice in devotional service, you feel, oh, Krishna is pleased. So, the other day, yesterday, I was listening to a lecture by Srila Prabhupada, and he was explaining, because Prabhu has been asking about Swarup and so on and so forth, what is our relationship with the Supreme Lord, our Swarup, our spiritual body? Devotees become very concerned. Well, the first point is, the Swarup is exactly that, Swarup, your own form. The soul is not impersonal object. It is with form. Just like a seed, I've explained this a number of times last week. The seed has the tree within it, and it has a particular tree. It has its own tree within it. One is a ashwatthama tree, one is a peepal tree, one is a rose bush. The seed, so every soul has his swarup. And we can understand that, because what else does Krishna explain? Nitya siddha Krishna prem sada kabanai shravanadi sudachitte. But the point is, Krishna prem is eternally established within the soul. It's not outside the soul. It's not gained from outside. It is within the soul. Shravanadi sudachitte karide udai. By hearing and chanting and the 9 processes, the consciousness becomes purified, and that Krishna prem wakes up. It wakes up, right? So that prem, the Swarup, is the expression of that prem. That prem is eternally within the soul in a dormant form, but when it wakes up, it takes the form of an attraction in one of the primary sthayi bhavs, right? As in Madhurya bhav, conjugal, vatsalya, dasya, and sakya bhav. But there are also, that is the simple categorization. But what it means is, that is within the soul. It is inbuilt. Now, what I heard in this lecture yesterday, I was listening by Prabhupada, because Prabhupada was explaining this on a morning walk. And Prabhupada was explaining that many of these apasampradayas, the Babajis and this and that, they approach Krishna just like the demon here approaches the material energy and thinks, I want to enjoy in this way, by becoming a soccer player, by becoming a communist agitator, by becoming a drunkard, or by a drug dealer. They want to enjoy in a particular way. So Prabhupada is explaining in this lecture that sometimes we go to Krishna consciousness and we decide, I want this. I want this relationship. I want to be in Sakyaras. That's what I want. And so at an immature stage, we chant desiring that. Now Prabhupada explains that that is, in the Bhagavatam, I just looked it up, Savai pumsam paradharmo yato bhaktir adhoksajay ahoitiki apratiyata Atma suprasidati. The highest dharma is that by which one develops bhakti, loving devotion to the Supreme Lord. And two conditions are given there. The first one, motivation. That means you don't go to bhakti and think, I want to be in Sakyaras. I'm chanting because that's what I want. No, Prabhupada says no. What we do is we chant Hare Krishna mantra, and it means, O Radha and Krishna, you engage me in your service as you desire. That is a hoitaki. You understand? I'm not going to Radha and Krishna desiring this and that when I'm in immature stage. I'm going to Radha and Krishna and saying, you decide what. And what is in the Shikshastikam? Ainanda tanuja kinkaram patitamam vishveva bambudo kripayatava pangara. Son of Nanda Maharaj, I'm fallen in this material energy. Just please pick me up. And he doesn't say, Lord Chaitanya, and make me one of your associates in Goloka. He says, what does he say? Let me be a speck of dust at your lotus feet. He doesn't say, I want this relationship, I want this rasa, because that is not a hoitaki. That is a desire to, just the same as the demon, bewildered, he's trying to enjoy the material energy. So we may take that selfish idea and try to enjoy in the spiritual energy. You understand? According to our predilection. But Prabhupada explains, so the devotee chants Hare Krishna, and he meditates on the meaning of the mantra, and he considers, I just want your service, Radha and Krishna. And now if we understand, as I explained before, that the soul has a constitutional nature, we have our own constitutional swarup inbuilt into the soul, that Prabhupada is explaining, I'm expanding what he said, that will expand our swarup. Because in the spiritual world, everyone is unmotivated. They're not desiring for themselves. In the material world, we're desiring for our own self. We want these things according to my idea. I'm bewildered, I want this and that. But in the spiritual world, the attitude is, and what is that song by Bhakti Vinod Thakur? Manasa deho geho yo kishore mora apilo tu apade nanda kishore. My mind, my body, my geha, I just dedicate them all to you, O son of Nanda Maharaj. Now if you want me to come to the spiritual world, that is your choice. If you want me to stay here, but I have just one request. If I have to take birth again, let me take birth in the house of a Vaishnav, even if it is just as an insect. So he's not desiring, I want this, I want that in the spiritual world. He's just, I give everything to you, son of Nanda Maharaj. And whether you keep me alive or you destroy me. And what does Lord Chaitanya say at the end of the Shiksha Saka? He says, Aslishiva pararatam panashtamam adarshanam. You know that if you embrace me, that's wonderful, Krishna. But if you ignore me and you trample me, that's your choice. Huh? I just will remain your devotee. I just want to be your devotee. So this is a wonderful understanding that Prabhupada is propagating, and the Bhagavatam, it is Savai, Paro Dharmo, that you go to Krishna knowing you have a constitution. Don't worry about that. But you just go there with an attitude of service. I'm chanting Hare Krishna, Radha and Krishna, Sri Ram, pleasure, potency. You decide what you want. And what does head of our Sampradaya, Lord Brahma, after the Brahma Vimohan Leela, he took away the cowherd boys, and then, Krishna showed the real, who has got the real potency, right? And he prayed to Lord, Brahma prayed to Krishna, Gopal. He said, look, there's just one request I have. He said, let me take birth in Vrindavan as grass. Let me take birth as grass so that your devotees, the gopis, I will get the foot dust of the gopis. And that he didn't say, oh, let me go to the spiritual world and become a cowherd boy in your Leela, let me do this. No. And it's funny that I think the day before yesterday I was coming, this is my godbrother Pundarik and his wonderful wife, and I was coming back and I was studying, all these things and thinking about what Prabhupada said in the lecture. And as I came off the Parikram path to go to my place, there was two Saki Bedis. You know who are Saki Bedis? It's one of the Apasampradayas. They dress as gopis. They're men. They put on, they dress as gopis. And they think that I'm going to become a gopi. I'm cultivating that mood. And they were very nice, and they were, oh, Hare Krishna, Hare, oh, how nice. So I said, okay, Hare Krishna. But this is Apasampradaya. But Prabhupada does say we should respect the Apasampradaya, because they are devotees, just they haven't got the right Siddhanta. So we shouldn't be mean and nasty. Fault finding. They're on the path, they're somehow connected to Krishna, but they haven't got Siddhanta. Now we're very fortunate because we are under Srila Prabhupada, under Srila Bhakti Siddhanta, under Srila Bhakti Vinod. We're under these great acharyas that have done incredible things. And if we read their books and we listen to Prabhupada's lectures and we discuss amongst ourselves, we can get this idea, which I'll repeat for Pundarik, that when we chant, we just chant looking for service. Please, Krishna, please, Radharani, just give me service. And you decide what that service will be. And with that is pure bhakti. Savepam samparardo yato bhaktir adhoksaje, ahoitiki, unmotivated, apratiyata, an unbroken, continual, yenatma suprasidati. And then the soul becomes satisfied. So we have it's inbuilt to the soul. Krishna Prema is inbuilt to the soul. But we have to realize that on the spiritual platform, that is an amazing place. There's no motivation for me. You understand? The gopis are running to see Krishna on the Ras Leela night for his pleasure. Mother Yashoda is meditating, what's good for my son? Mother Sachi they're not thinking. This is the beauty of the spiritual platform. People are unmotivated. In this demoniac, they want what I want this. So we should understand this point of Siddhanta very carefully and not go to chanting and the spiritual contemplation thinking, I want this, I want this. It will naturally arise if we have seva bhav. In the spiritual world, everyone has this pure seva bhav. Where in the material world, that is, I want to serve myself. That's calm. That is iron. And prem is unselfish. In the spiritual world, everyone is a selfless servant of the Supreme and his devotees. And in the material world, everyone is a selfish servant of his material senses and mind and body. This is the difference. So we're sadhakas, we're trying to go from that to this. So this is prayojan tattva. We should contemplate this point, how in the spiritual world everyone is selfless. They have no personal ambitions. This is the purity, and this is Krishna also. He is full of bliss and he is completely satisfied, but he has created everything in his generosity to give to all the living entities. He's not static, he's giving, he wants to give. He's not creating the living entities so that he can enjoy them in that material sense that we enjoy in the material world. His enjoyment is to see their happiness. And so we sometimes see an echo of this in the material world. The mother loves to see the child growing healthy and happily, right? And she is ready to get up in the middle of the night to look after the child selflessly. So that the spiritual world is that. Krishna, Radharani, the gopis, the Astashaki, in Lord Chaitanya's section, everyone is selfless. And that is the ground of their perfection. So if we contemplate this, it is very pure, it will purify us. And we just chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, thinking, Krishna, what you decide, let it be. And that is so attractive to Krishna. You understand? Because the attitude is selfless. And that is the magic of the transcendental world. Srila Prabhupada, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Ki Jai. Any quick questions? Sachi wants to go. Okay, have you got the idea now? Ahoitaki, unmotivated. But your only motivation is, I want to serve. I want to serve the big acharyas. I want to serve the uttamadhikaris. I want to serve all devotees. I want to serve, and according to their desire. We have to practice that. And we have to practice the purity of the spiritual world. We have to have that vision, prayojan tattva, within our minds. And then we get intelligence. And we have to work towards that through our sadhana. And so that is so, once I heard that from Prabhupada's lecture, I thought it's so wonderful, because now I don't have to worry about details of sadhana and this and that. I just have to get that selfless mood in my chanting. You understand? And once that is there in the center of my bhakti sadhana, everything else will come out of that. Do you see my point? Is that clear? You just get the central mood of that selfless devotion, ahoitaki, apratiyata. And then, in one lifetime, as I told Pundarik and his wife, if you come to class, in one lifetime you can go back to Godhead. If we cultivate that selfless devotion, we can go back to Godhead in one lifetime. You understand? And And why? Is that selfishness? No. We want to become pure devotees. Why? For the glory of Srila Prabhupada. For the satisfaction of all the great acharyas. For the satisfaction of the whole sampradaya. Not for ourselves, but to show the glory of Srila Prabhupada, what he came to give. You see? And that is selfless devotion. We have to understand what is selfless devotion. And that is from the acharyas and the example of the great devotees. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. It's very inspiring to have your association. I hope you got something from the class. You did? So now we all chant Hare, and we just think, oh Krishna, Manasa, everything I give to you. You decide. Right? You decide. Huh?